Half-Life Alyx shows Valve's bad attitude. So I got a notification on my phone a couple minutes ago. It said you should check out this video on YouTube. This is recommended for you. You like Half-Life. I got about 2 minutes into this video before I was so frustrated that I realized I had to react to this, or else I was just gonna lose my mind. I have to get my anger out in some way immediately, because this is some idiocy right here. Look at the freaking like to dislike ratio here. This is absurd. You got an 8 to 1. Let's read the description before we get into this. Valve is a company generally beloved by gamers, but why? Well, because they've made Half-Life, Portal, Left 4 Dead, Team Fortress 2, Counter-Strike. Steam is certainly a valuable service, but it's also a form of DRM, yet God forbid that game companies get fucking paid, right? Valve has made great games, but also routinely cancels beloved franchises and has bought studios and shelved anticipated and upcoming games. If they didn't make it, it's because they didn't think it was working. Why would you want something underbaked? Already, there's such a sense of entitlement here. Any one of these would probably lead to waves of internet hate if, say, EA did them. No, they would not. When Nintendo released Pokemon Sword and Shield on time but unfinished, people lashed the fuck back at that. When Animal Crossing got delayed and then released when it did, granted, it's only been out for 2 days as of recording this, but everyone loves it. There's no problems with it. I have not heard a negative word about the new Animal Crossing game, but Pokemon, even before it came out, was getting shit on. You know what? I'll just let her do the talking. This is fine.
Valve does whatever the hell it wants. This isn't shocking considering the massive amounts of wealth and influence the company enjoys in the video game industry. The surprising part is how players respond positively to Valve over and over again, even when the company's announcements feel more like a slap in the face.
If you watched the Half-Life Alyx trailer and told me that you didn't get hype as fuck, a slap in the face? Are you shitting me? Half-Life Alyx, the trailer alone is without a doubt the highest fidelity we've ever seen in terms of visuals in a VR game. And it's Valve making a game in the first place, which I get, you had the criticism of Valve, canceling franchises. Now they're bringing one back and you're whining about it still? What the fuck?
With an abundance of resources at its disposal and no stockholders to answer to, Valve routinely operates outside the boundaries of logical consumerism. In fact, many of its decisions are blatantly anti-consumer, flying in the face of what players and developers actually want.
See, this argument is really weird to me. Valve has been doing what they want since, the early 2000s. Everyone was having to buy $1,000 computers just to get and play Half-Life 2. Half-Life Alyx is no different. We had this exact same scenario 15 years ago. Granted, I wasn't there for it. I couldn't tell you the specifics. But fuck, they've always been envelope pushers. You're not talking about a company that wants to play things by the numbers. Valve has never been by the numbers, and they never will be by the numbers. What you just stated, that they don't have any shareholders to hold them back, that is the exact reason that they've never gone public, because then they would have to refuse to be innovative.
Valve forces players to use specific platforms, shuts down revenue streams for developers, and shows little interest in building the games and sequels that fans are desperate to play.
See, I think that's weird that she brought up the whole cutting off money streams thing, because that is a legitimate issue, that Steam is not fairly paying developers, but then just goes right back to they're not making the things that people want, which just makes everyone involved with this video sound like an entitled bitch.
Valve bought Firewatch studio Camposanto, only to cancel development on its highly anticipated next project in the Valley of Gods.
People at Valve have wheels on their desks because they can do whatever they want. If people stopped working on In the Valley of Gods, it's because they wanted to work on Half-Life Alyx. Valve did not consume Camposanto and cancel their project. Camposanto was bought by Valve and then decided they wanted to work on Half-Life.
The most recent example of Valve's bad attitude is Half-Life Alyx. As it stands, Valve still hasn't updated fans on the status of Episode 3. Instead, Alyx is a prequel, set between the events of Half-Life and Half-Life 2. Oh, and it's only playable on VR platforms.
Okay, whoever wrote this absolutely does not have a VR headset because they say, oh, it's only playable on VR, like it's a bad thing. Again, this comes back to Half-Life 2, when they were getting people to buy really expensive processors and graphics cards to be able to handle the higher fidelity and physics simulations of that time. In addition, if you want to talk about giving people what they want, if you always only give people what they want, if Valve only gave people what they want after Half-Life, you would not have, like, any of the shit that they have. No one asked for physics in Half-Life 2. Valve did it because it was innovative. No one asked for the Source engine as a whole. They did it because it was innovative. And this is the exact same thing that's happening right now with Source 2 and Half-Life Alyx. No one asked for any of this. This is what we need. You know, I'm actually really looking forward to Engadget's review of Half-Life Alyx now, because I can't wait to see them give it like a 6 and just be like, didn't live up to the hype. This isn't Half-Life 3.
And it'll work best on the Index, Valve's proprietary VR headset that costs $1,000.
Yeah, God forbid a company makes stuff and optimizes it best for their device, right? Fuck them for having the most advanced VR headset available to consumers right now and charging a premium price for it, and then also saying that their game that they have will work best on the most advanced hardware available right now.
Shockingly, this strategy hasn't alienated Valve's fans. In fact, most players are expressing excitement for this VR-only, prohibitively expensive Half-Life.
But don't show me a crop of Reddit posts with 1 point each. What are you doing?
It's being hailed as the software savior of the VR industry, driving an increase in headset sales across the board.
Yeah, yes. That's what happened with Half-Life 2. People bought expensive shit to play the cool shit.
Forced adoption is exactly how the company got so many people happily hooked on Steam in 2004.
You're gonna talk about it too. You're gonna admit that you know about this shit and then say it's still a bad thing. All right. It's not forced. Valve is not putting a gun to your head and saying you have to buy it and play this shit. And besides, you're the one bitching that it's not Half-Life 3 anyway, so why would you want it?
The company is notoriously unable to count to 3 in any of its established series.
What the fuck? Are they using a meme as an argument for why Valve is a bad company? Valve makes what they want. God damn, man, this is annoying. I'm like halfway through this garbage. You know, the whole they can't count to 3 thing is really fucking whack anyway, because Portal 2 had conclusivity to it. Left 4 Dead is just a multiplayer game. Dota 2 is Dota 2. Like, the Half-Life 2 Episode 2 thing, sure, I get it. Like, we've been waiting for a long time for a conclusion to the story, but like these other examples, what? They didn't make a game because they didn't want to make a game?
In an era of Overwatch, Fortnite, and live streaming, Team Fortress 2 could have been a top-tier esports title, but instead, Valve let the game languish. As of 2017, Valve had just 16 people on the TF2 development team, and even then, they weren't full-time.
Are you at this moment, in this time, as I'm watching this video right now, making the argument that Valve should have made TF2 more of an esport as due to recent developments when the game was made before esports really blew up? You're talking about making demand where there is none. That's exactly what the fuck this is. Are you against this or for this? What the hell is your problem?
Even in the midst of repeated disappointment, that's generally the response Valve gets from Steam users: laughter and a sense of camaraderie, as if players are in on whatever joke the multi-billion-dollar company is playing on them. There's a cottage industry of friendly...
What the fuck does that mean, the joke that they're playing? They're not playing a joke on us. They're doing what they want. They're doing what they think is necessary as a group of artists and creators, and you're saying that they're shitting on us? We're about to receive a very innovative and fleshed out virtual reality game that has been worked on for nearly 4 years. And you're saying that they're bullying us? What's your problem?
Valve started offering developers a 75% cut of future revenue only once a game made $10 million, and an 80% cut after $50 million.
You know what, this is kind of a fair point. that Valve is a bit greedy on the money-making side, that at this point they could give people 95% and probably not lose much money. This part is a bit unfortunate, and this is a fair point. I don't see how it ties into Half-Life Alyx, though.
With Steam passively generating billions of dollars a year, Valve is free to ignore outside creative constraints and consumer desires in equal measure.
Yeah, and that's a good thing, really. The whole 30%, 70% thing is a bit of an issue, and that could change. It could help a lot of developers and give them more creative freedom like Valve has. The argument that you're making right now is that Valve should not have the money that it has so that they are forced to make games that they don't want to so that the public is happy. Thing is, the quality of games that you would receive if Valve employees were forced to make games on a specific release date, at a specific time, in a specific franchise, you would get a significantly worse game. The quality of the game would be so lower than any Valve title you've received. This right here is peak entitlement.
And when Valve does actually release a game, it tends to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, spawn a new genre of video games fantastic.
You just invalidated everything you just said! Why am I watching this? What is your problem? Did your editor do this? Your editor must have put you up to this to be like, okay, well, let's soften the blow a little bit. What? You said...
It tends to be fantastic. Like, spawn a new genre of video games fantastic.
And that's what they're trying to do. You can't innovate virtual reality if you don't make an amazing virtual reality game that is going to require people to get into virtual reality. What? God, I can't watch this shit.
I guess that's why players will wait 13 years to be excited about the wrong game coming to a limited platform.
What? You know what? You were close. You were close to having a point there. You were close to invalidating everything you said, and then you decided to ignore the words that came out of your own mouth. You know, it's fine. If she doesn't care, I don't care, you know?
Subscribe and stay tuned to Engadget.com for all the video game news.
Not after that shit. Wow. What the hell do I even say to that? She almost invalidated herself at the end, and then she ignored what she was saying and then kept going and said, it doesn't matter how innovative and amazing they are, you know, it still sucks because it's not what I wanted. What? If this is your stance now, then you would have opposed Half-Life 2 in 2004, and you would have opposed everything related to the Source engine as well in that case. You have no authority to say anything you have said, and you should not have any position making the videos that Engadget publishes. You also show complete ignorance with regards to how Valve manages their staff, in that Valve employees have complete freedom and can do whatever they want, talking as if Valve orders their employees to do different things. And while I understand that this is an opinion piece and I can't take someone's opinion away from them, the arguments that they have used to construct their opinion are garbage. There's a bunch of logical fallacies and inconsistencies, and I would highly suggest that this person does their research before they publish another opinion piece on anything.